Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Rival Bros, where we two brothers get together and do some banter. I am Timucin, your host, as always. Anyone on the channel knows as representing Liverpool, and we have Edip, my brother, here representing Manchester United. We'll be talking a lot about obviously the Premier League. We'll talk about like Matchday 2. There's a lot happening in the transfer window. We'll talk about that stuff. The Champions League draw is on, so we'll talk about who Liverpool got, who United got. But no,
No,
wait, sorry, United is not on there.
uh,
That's fine. We'll
that
talk
was
about
cheap.
the EFL Cup
That
draw.
was that was
Uh,
real cheap. Okay, go
yeah,
on.
we'll talk about it. That's fine. I'm sorry. I apologize. We'll talk about the EFL Cup draw and see who Liverpool got and who United got.
Okay.
No, still nothing. Okay. Well, we'll talk about Liverpool then, and then you can just watch in the background. But so, how are you doing today? Have you recovered from what is being called the most embarrassing loss of recent history? And
Yeah.
there's a lot of like candidates in there, mind you, like the 7-0 and stuff like that. But have you recovered?
Well, I think it's just a chain of events that's been going on for quite a few years now. I wasn't surprised. I wouldn't. Uh, I wouldn't believe this if it was like about I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, because I think the mentality in the team after Sir Alex left stayed on for a few more years. Yes, we weren't very successful, but the mentality was still there. But now the mentality is nowhere near a Manchester United team or any any Premiership team or any football team for that matter, because obviously this has been it has been a bad week for us, for Fenerbahce, but at the same time, on the same day, in fact during the same hours,
Yes.
we played exactly the same hours. It was a doubly bad week for me. Have I recovered? Not really, no. But the more important question is, will United recover for the rest of the season, where they began um, with a little bit of hope, uh, with the new transfers, not so bad at football in the Arsenal game, blah blah. But if you look back now, the Arsenal, the Fulham game, and now this, um, I'm pretty sure that there will be a lot more problems with United for the rest of the season, and it's and it's still August.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll go game by game and like kind of like address some of the fixtures from last weekend. But yeah, I mean, after the first game, it was, like Emery was like, yes, we can play head to head with anybody, even Arsenal kind of a deal. Because, I mean, they did get only a goal from a set piece with like Bayender kind of like fumbling it away kind of a deal. So
Yeah.
it was on paper a good showing in that sense, right? And then the Fulham game comes. We'll talk a little about that because we have talked about this in the past as well with your boy Bruno.
Mhm.
I don't know if you saw. I mean, we talked about it obviously on the channel and on the Discord channel ourselves. Like watching from our. I mean, it's a very easy guy to hate. I don't know because nobody likes rats. Nobody likes his attitude. I don't. I think even United fans. I've already like started turning on him if they had not already. People were asking him to be sold to Saudi already. He should have been gone, kind of a deal. But his behavior during that penalty kick, I don't know if I'm assuming you saw that,
I watched the
bumps
game.
into the referee by accident and he just makes like a huge thing of it, like the referee tripped him on his way to the ball or something like that. It's just like and then has enough time to reset himself and stuff anyway, and then skies the penalty. That's not what really cost the points at the end of the day. It was like more the second half and stuff. But what do you make of that? I think we talked about that in the first episode where as we say in Turkish, this is an actual Turkish saying, let the monkeys ask one that you made up last week, but the fish stinks from the head, right?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Isn't that
The fish stinks from the head. Yes.
that's what I just said. It is okay, sense. Yeah, okay. I
That
just said
that didn't that didn't that didn't make sense when you say it in English, though. The
But
first things
basically, when your captain is key, the entire team is gonna.
well, but it's not just the captain. To be honest, I think his attitude reflects um, what's wrong in United at all. I know you Liverpool fans. Well, you wouldn't like the United captain for
Yeah,
many
yeah,
reasons.
yeah.
Uh, but as I was saying, well, this is the third program, and I'm still saying the same thing for the past 3 weeks. United has a goalkeeper problem. United has a captaincy problem. United has a Fernandez problem because his being there, no matter how many new and good players come onto the squad and on the pitch, you can see all the newcomers are just hanging by a thread. They don't sort of own the team, and I'm just putting that on to uh, Fernandez because he's been there with many managers. It's not up to
Yes,
the
he's
manager.
gone through a lot of managers in that sense. Because, like,
Yeah,
when you say, for example, I mean, this weekend we played Newcastle, Bruno Guimaraes, for example, and I was even telling you, I'm like, I don't know if it's the name at this point, but he is so freaking annoying. But he's annoying in the sense that, as annoying as he is, if he was wearing a Liverpool jersey, he's the kind of guy that you would love to have on your team, but you would hate if
yeah,
he's on the other team. Like Bruno Guimaraes is that kind of a player. Like Bruno Fernandez, I would not want to be on my team. I would hate him if he was on my team with that attitude because it feels like it's kind of like infectious. But it doesn't help when you have a guy like an attitude with like that, and then you make him the captain. I mean, this Grimsby Town thing is not, I mean, he came in at halftime and stuff like that, but it wasn't even like when I saw the score at halftime, it was 2-0. I
yeah,
thought it was heaven and earth, like heaven on defense. And it was just like, people, like a bunch of like kids playing. And then at halftime, they would put reinforcements. But really, it's not that much of a rotation. There's a couple of young kids in there. But
yeah,
ultimately, it's actually your number one goal in Onana. And then you
yeah.
have like
Oh,
Sheshko out there. You have like Cunha out there. I mean, you have a lot of good players out there. And you're playing a fourth division team. And it wasn't even like, I mean, I don't know if you watched the highlights. In all honesty, if there is VAR, that game goes to 3-0 before it goes to 2-1
yeah,
because their goal is not even offside and it gets
yeah.
chalked off to kind of give them more life and stuff. What do you give the Grims? I mean, because you can see, I mean, do you give to him? Amarim over here seen cooking some dogs on the side during the game, despite the rain and everything, tailgating over there. Like he's got the magnets thing and like putting all the players where they go and stuff like that. I mean, should it even be that tactical? Because after the game, I don't know if you listened to him, but
Yeah,
it
I have.
sounded like a guy so frustrated and angry. I was talking to Audrey this morning, who's from Colombia, and anybody who's kind of like had English as their second language, especially as you're learning it, you really struggle when you're angry and stuff because like the brain does not process as fast as it should. You squeak in. I mean, like I came here the first 5 to 10 years, I would swear in Turkish in traffic because that's like the first thing that comes out. I mean, he couldn't even talk. He was so kind of like frustrated.
Well, he would be, wouldn't he? I mean, the thing is, this is the thing. If Grimsby Town wasn't Grimsby Town and it was a championship team, um, the United team would be more like I don't know, disciplined mentally when
Ready?
they are going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, if it was a League One team, if it's a League Two team, then Amarim should be looking at that squad and say um, they didn't want to be on the pitch.
That's
That's
fair.
the thing. If I'm Cunha and sort of was paid this and this, uh, if I am not told the meaning of this game, because you were saying that, I mean, EFL is not an easy one, but a more probable one for silverware
Yeah.
for Amarim. Yeah. So
And I mean, really, there is only two options for United. They're not going to win the league. So you either have
Exactly.
to win FA Cup to have any kind of something to grab onto. It's the FA
Exactly.
Cup or it's the League Cup.
So this is an important cup for United. Not maybe the United of Ferguson, but this season,
Yes.
especially for Amorim, that is an important, and Amorim knows it. But
Yeah.
I think he failed to pass on the feeling to the players, or he picked the wrong players to play on the pitch. Because I'm positive if he gave the all the second team a chance. Well, Onana, I don't know if he's first or second, and well, he's still second. So because they are between the rock and the hard place. Is it
Yeah.
Altay or Onana? Which one is worse? So that is a huge problem which they have to solve in about what, 4 days.
4 days. Yep.
4 days. Uh, if not that season, this season, Altay will be in goal. I think Onana won't be there after this game, obviously. Uh, th- so if he placed all the second team with the young guys there, I'm sure they would take it seriously, and it will be a head-to-head game, and it will not be so much of an embarrassment putting
Yeah.
through Fernandez's and Mbamos and whoever into the pitch for for the little guys of Grimsby trying to hang on there. That is the embarrassing part. So Amarim could say, we are not treating this as urgency. We will go for the FA Cup, and we will go for the Champions League place in the Premier. So we will be playing this with the second 11, or the third 11, or whatever, and then that would not be a disappointment because well,
Yeah. It's
the
just a
young
kid.
guys,
Yeah.
exactly. But if you sort of do this, and then during the halftime sort of put the others on there as well, uh, and your second goalkeeper, I know it's a penalty, or if your guys, the million pound guys, have shaking legs when they're actually taking the penalties, and the Grimsby guys don't, then you have a problem. That you
But
have
the
a big.
funny thing was because you were not. I was watching like the penalty
Yeah, I
kicks, the
know.
last 10, 12 of them. I was basically broadcasting it live to you, telling you what's happening, and it was so funny because you watch, and Grimsby boys were having like a blast. Like they were laughing on the sideline, they're joking, the fans are laughing because they're playing with house money. They like even this is huge for them, like taking United to penalties. It felt like there was zero pressure on them. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the players feel differently when they step up to a kick or whatever. But you could tell, like on the sideline, the players that are waiting for their turn, the coaches, the fans, like nobody was like biting their nails or anything. People were like, it was like a party, and they got to celebrate at the end. So you feel good for the home team. Not to mention this against United, so it feels double
Obviously,
as good. But
obviously.
yeah, But do you think he put out all those guys out there because this is one of the trophies you have to win? Because he can't afford to put the kids in there, have the kids lose. Because he can't come back afterwards and be like, what are you going to do? It's the kids. Because, okay, now you're down to one trophy. That doesn't start until January. So until January, United has one game a week, like Sunderland's,
Yeah.
who also lost, it got eliminated. And that can't be, that's very anti-United, like, revenue wise, not to mention that. But then it puts even more pressure on every freaking game now. Because it's not like you can say, I don't know, let's say you lose to Burnley on the weekend. You could maybe say, it doesn't matter. We have Brighton this weekend in the cup. That's more important or something. No, there's nothing now. So every weekend is going to be even more pressure on Amorim and the team.
Yes, I can see where you're coming from, but still, United's main target this year uh, should be easily uh, the Champions League place.
Yeah.
It's week 2, so nothing's sort of
Yeah.
finished or anything like that. So the main target is that. It's not the EFL. But
Yeah.
Amarim's uh, actions during the game, before the game, the first 11, and then a halftime made it look like, oh my God, EFL could have been the only one that I have. That's the thing. I think that's why he's frustrated because uh, back there somewhere he also underestimated uh, the game, mm, the game itself. I'm not talking about Grimsby or whatever. The
Yeah, just the
game,
scope. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, FA Cup is like that as well. I mean, it happened in Turkey as well, maybe one in 50 years or something. A Division Two or Division Three.
Yeah.
This is Division Four, and I'm in his wildest dreams. Amarim didn't think this will go like this, and then he panicked. He made the sausages or whatever on the side. um, I think he panicked, and I would panic as well. I mean,
So does
anybody.
this? I mean, it clearly hurts him, but does it affect his status?
It's early to sack anybody
I mean,
in
it
United.
shortens the leash, I'm sure, but how short is that
Mm,
leash?
no, I don't think this is going to be uh, one of the reasons if he's sacked.
So if
Uh,
Burnley wins this weekend at Old
hmm,
Trafford, do you
hmm.
think he makes it past the international break?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, that's what I
And
was
I,
wondering.
and I believe it will be a different game against Burnley. Now the players also um, probably figured out what's going on. The new guys,
Oh, the
especially.
new guys.
Hmm.
But don't you
Especially the
think
new.
like it's not like, oh, they're gonna care more about this one kind of a deal, right? I mean,
Not care, but anybody who comes to United, and we've seen this through the years, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, they are being transferred to this team with millions of pounds and to save the United legend.
yeah.
So they come there as saviors. And most of the time, we have a good start to the season. Uh, I'm putting on a positive spin here, I know, and I'm sure, I hope it will work like this. This season, we had a very quick, guys, you have to get together moment. So I'm sure because, well, Amarim knows it as well as the guys who came here to save the United legends. Uh, they have to work harder and take it more seriously. Not meaning to them, obviously, it means a lot to them, but they will have to work harder and take it more seriously. As if anybody's leash is getting shorter, I think it's Fernandez's leash. To be honest,
Hmm.
it should.
See, I don't know if he would ever like do that himself. I think if unless Fernandez wants to take the money, and sounds like all those guys want to kind of leave on their own terms and stuff, and that's the problem
Yeah,
with United, right? They give these ridiculous wages, so it's
yeah,
impossible to get rid of people.
yeah.
But I mean, that's like an optimistic view. What I also see is like there's no way this team is going to qualify for the Champions League with their current weaknesses. Because it's almost like, on the pitch, you don't have a goalie, you just said, for example,
Yeah,
right?
that's the
So, I
thing.
mean, there's one right there. And we talked about it in the first episode where they signed some guys, they spent 200 for the guys in front. So you have some guys like the Mbueme goal yesterday that, something out of nothing. There'll be some points won because of those guys. But I think in the grand scheme of things, there are a lot of like pretty darn solid teams out there that
Yeah,
we'll talk about a couple of them in a little bit over here that will be more doing that more consistently. And I can see a lot more of like United will get two scores and there'll be a hiccup. One good score, there'll be another hiccup. Because when you don't have a midfield and you don't have a goalie, you can't win consistently. You have some
no.
guys who can make an impact. That's why, I mean, obviously, you're going to take the optimistic view, but looking from outside, I just feel like even if you get a couple of good results, it's not sustainable because you don't have a goalie, you don't have a midfield, and you're not going to change that in 4 days. Doesn't look like. Unless they
Well,
get Donnarumma, who's going to City.
Yeah, I know, but this is the thing that about football, isn't it? I mean, when Leicester City started the season many years ago with Ranieri, they didn't have anybody, neither in goal or but they created the stars. In this United team, we have people to change it. That's why I said in the last episode, winning is important, and we couldn't do that in Fulham. We
Yep.
couldn't do that in Arsenal. Well, we obviously couldn't do that in Grimsby. But obviously, the Fulham game and the Arsenal game, we deserved at least 4 points from there, which we got, what, one.
One. Yeah. Yeah, but
So
here's the difference, though. I mean, I get the like again, I get the optimism, but when you're lesser scored, we were talking about Grimsby Town. I was telling you about them like laughing around as they're taking penalty kicks. You're kind of playing with house money. There is not that constant pressure
sure,
that's coming carried on too. I mean, like say the last 3-4 seasons of carried on pressure. So as you're winning, you're like, wait a second, we got something over here. Is basically what happened to Leicester, and then
yeah,
that belief drives you further and stuff like that. Whereas I feel like United, there's so much, not bad blood, but you know what I mean. There's so much like garbage in the background. It's such a dumpster fire that's you unless you win like 10 in a row, a couple of
it
wins and a
depends.
hiccup is gonna go back to square one. Go back to square one. Go back to square
Yeah,
one.
if you're talking about the hiccups, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, if we get a few wins under our belt, um, Altay is a better keeper than Onana. I'm definitely positive
I
about
would
that.
agree to that. Even
Yeah,
though, I mean, even we said this. Here's the problem: nobody knew Altai, right?
yeah, yeah,
Now, just cross the ball.
yeah. I know
Altai is in
exactly.
goal. Just cross the ball. I mean, we
Yeah,
knew this as a Fenerbahce fan because we were like, "Don't let him cross the ball."
yeah,
When he was in the Fenerbahce goal. Now, everybody who watched Altai over the last 2 weeks, especially that Fulham game, I mean, he was in no man's land half the time over there. Anybody who
every
watches
corner.
that, now that the scouting report is like, yeah, just keep crossing the ball, and he has
Yeah,
no idea where the ball is.
that's the thing, though, isn't it? I mean, if Amorim is the manager that he is, then he will create a better protection around him uh, in those set pieces. I'm sure of that. And I'm sure a week a game or game a week, as you said, will be the advantage there because they will be um, focusing on a game a week. So if I was Amram uh, and the team as well, they will have, as you say, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 games back-to-back wins. That means they will have 5 or 6 or 7 final games, which they can actually focus on and go out not as game of the week or game number 2 of the week or whatever. Uh, they will know that they will have more time to study the opposition, more time to correct their mistakes, more time to set up the defending uh, posture around Altay, if that's who we are actually taking
I know
on
they were
to.
rumored with a goalie. I don't think it ever
Yeah,
went across the line yet, but I
no,
would think it'll be a really busy last 2-3 days here. But
yeah,
even then, you're bringing a
who
new
knows?
goalie that nobody has any trust in and stuff like that. Goalie is like the toughest position to kind of build trust over time. So I don't know, man. Like Alta, I was just looking that up. He's like 27 years old.
Yeah,
So all dog, new trick kind of a thing. He has never been that physical presence that you were talking about, and I would rather have a dude with a physical presence bailing out the defense because you're not going to have the defense bail out. There are times where, as a defender, you're like, come out and get this thing. And
yeah.
if your guy is not coming out to get that thing, if he pulls an Onana, for example, what he did yesterday in the second goal, I mean, there's
Yeah.
no way out of it. I mean, okay. So, but
Depends,
before we go on to
depends,
the fixtures,
depends on the amount of confidence they have they can build up on, which is like below zero at the moment. So anything.
that's the thing. So
Yeah,
before we go back to the Premier League and look at like the thing, so this old Grimsby Town comedy over here. how much will it impact what happens? Knowing the
I
club, knowing the manager, knowing the captain, knowing the players.
if you look back and take it from the positive side, uh, well,
Take a realistic side. I don't want a positive. You've been giving us a positive side for the last 25 minutes here. Give me a
um,
realistic side.
realistically, if United is Man United, uh, this will be a wake up call. Realistically, this should be a wake up call, because if it's not, then it will be everybody's head again, and we are back to square one again. So that's the
I think
realistic.
that's. I mean, because how many of these have United had over the last 2, 3 seasons, right? Like it was
Yeah,
like this should be it, this should be it, this should be it. It's just never it because you need those people to make it a turning point. I think that's what they're kind of like lacking, which
yeah.
is a joy to watch. But let's take a look at the scores from last week over here. West Ham, we were just talking about how Mourinho is already rumored to go to West Ham earlier when we were doing the Fenerbahce ordeal. West Ham took the lead, but then Chelsea come back storming and they just make an easy work on it. I do want to ask you about this one, the Manchester City Tottenham. Last week when we talked about it, we were saying like, which one does it say more about, like City or Tottenham? Having seen this game now, where are you at with these two teams? It's still early goings. It's still kind of like an over this. These first 3 weeks is kind of like an overreaction zone as a whole. But now,
Yeah.
when you see a game like this, where do you project these guys headed?
First of all, I have to say, well, I am definitely overestimating Guardiola's return. Definitely, because I told you that he must have been preparing something for a comeback, because otherwise he's tumbling down there, and I haven't seen anything like that
Yeah,
coming back. So City doesn't have that confidence. He's lacking a keeper again, as United, um, and the amount of um, how when you watch a game, you can see the team either playing for each other or playing for themselves.
yeah,
When you see that City team, everybody's playing for himself. There's no not enough support, not enough helping each other out, not enough sort of having each other's back, sort of thing. Everybody's doing their uh, job in their office, in their cubicle, it seems like, uh, and nobody cares what the other is doing, as long as it's sort of not up to them.
yeah,
And that's not a good sign. And you can see that in United City. Well, United as well, for that
yeah.
matter.
I mean, yeah, you can you can see a lot in
Definitely,
United, that's for sure.
definitely
But
City. But having said that, that doesn't say Tottenham has a super sort of team, and they will be sort of rolling across the Premier League for sort of uh, getting every game. Uh, Tottenham's but statistically, Tottenham loves the City ground, don't they?
yes, they do. Yes,
Yeah. So that um, is big in the English football culture, because they have statistics going back to the Stone Age or whatever. So and they almost always, um, some of the teams, on some grounds, they do get those results. I don't know if it's because it's a myth that's sort of
I think it's just more
created.
like a confidence. You're coming out like not.
Yeah,
I mean, we were talking.
yeah,
I think you were talking about it. Like when people go to Old Trafford, like instead of going out there and saying, "Hope we don't get our head bashed in," you're going over
exactly.
there saying, "We might get something out of this. We might even win this and stuff like that." So I mean, and once you lose that, I mean, we always talk about this with Fenerbahce, for example. Once you lose that, it takes a long time to get it back. So that's kind of like one of those deals, and not as well as for the player playing it at home. Like if you're always winning at home, you have that confidence. Like eventually we're gonna score. This is gonna go our way. It's almost like the inevitable kind of like an approach to it. So yeah, I mean Tottenham definitely does look good. I was shocked to see City looking as bad, and they are definitely missing a De Bruyne like character who can just kind of like change a game with a pass and stuff. And man, like in the like when he was like throwing subs in and you got Foden in, which I don't know why he fell so much, but then you saw like Bernardo Silva is like a like, I mean, he looks like he's 90, like he's just like running in sand. It just looks like a totally different player. So I think you have, and I think you have some of these guys like Silva is a good example, I think, who were there taking the team to, you know, trophies. And now they're kind of like the afterthoughts coming off the bench and stuff. And I don't think that's like a lot of like positive vibes. I really think that's one of the reason Pep keeps talking about moving some players, making the squad smaller. When the hell did Pep suddenly start making like wanting a smaller squad? The guy is spending like billions buying every player on earth.
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
that's part of it. He wants to move some of these guys who are a little bitter, maybe because they went down the pecking order after. I mean, Ederson is one of those guys, probably. Like after taking him to where they are, being part of that project, they're not handling the going down the pecking order as well, I think. So I think behind the scenes, there's that part of a drama too. But as an
Is it,
overreaction, who finishes the league above
um,
when the
ah,
season is over? Spurs or City?
City, definitely.
City. Okay. What were you saying about you were about to say something? Go ahead.
No, I caught one scene. I'm sure the City fans also caught the scene as well. Right after City conceded the first goal, the cameras went onto Foden, which was having a laugh and sharing a joke with his
Probably
friends.
about his haircuts, but okay.
Wow, as bad, but that is not a good sign.
Yes.
If you go down 1-0 because of a terrible mistake, and if you're making fun right there then and right now, right after that, I'm sorry.
Knowing the
I'm,
cameras are probably going to be on you as well, by the way. Mind
exactly.
you, at this
That's the
point,
thing.
you might
Yeah,
like as well put money on it that there's a camera on you at all times, like designated to the bench and all like, you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like knowing that.
And the director saying, Foden is laughing.
Yes.
Foden is laughing. This guy.
Um, Bournemouth 1, Wolves 0. Is our boy Vitor in trouble?
I think so. I've just seen the highlights. I haven't seen the game.
Same.
But Bournemouth, uh, but Bournemouth not didn't look too bad
No.
the tournament that they
Oh, the one
made
in Chicago over here? I mean,
in
really, they looked
Chicago.
pretty darn
Yeah.
good against Liverpool. They came back from
Oh yeah,
2-0, and they're very physical. I think everybody was expecting for them to struggle defensively because they lost 3 out of the back 4.
yeah,
But the rest of the team is there. They got a good manager and they still work for the manager. It goes back to what you're saying. Like they're a team that work kind of works for each other. I mean, they gave us a tough time at Anfield, even when it was 2-0 and stuff like that. So, but do you think, I mean, Wolves are, I mean, I think we said 3 up, 3 down. But if
yeah.
somebody is going to stay like Leeds or whoever, Burnley or whatever, or Sunderland, Wolves is probably one of those candidates, right?
Well, the first 2 weeks says that they won against West Ham, didn't they? On Tuesday
Yeah.
with the
Well,
uh,
Larson came in and scored 2 goals towards the end,
yeah.
and I think looking like they are keeping him because Newcastle just signed the dude from Stuttgart today as a
Did they?
striker, which
Right.
probably means Isak is gonna end up in Liverpool because they spent like 85 or something like that. And that dude, I can't remember his name now, but I
Mhm.
think that kind of signals that because Wolves turned on the offer and it looked like they were just wanted more money. But I think this might mean that they're gonna because he came in off the bench and scored the 2 goals to get
Yeah,
into the next round.
yeah. Well, Wolves has a huge game this weekend. I'm sure we'll go over them as well
Oh
against Everton.
yes,
So I think maybe next week we'll know a lot more. But I'm sure they will come back. I would like them to come back because I really like Vitor
I think so
as
too.
well.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page with Vitor. We talked about it last week too. Like he's, you
Yeah,
know, one of the good dudes, if you will. Burnley 2, Sunderland 0. It kind of goes back to what you're saying about the Wolves Everton game. It's not like, oh, wow, what happened in that Burnley game? But at the end of the season, these are like almost like 6 point games when it comes to
Yeah.
relegation battles. So they're big deals. People only pay attention in the last 10 weeks, but what happens now is going to determine that. So Brentford 1, Villa 0, Arsenal 5, Leeds United 0. Any takeaways from either of those?
Oh, wow. This goes to the Brentford game, obviously. Is the more important one there, to be honest, if you ask me. The other one, I took for a surprise, uh, if you remember, the Arsenal
Yes,
one.
and stop
But
betting because you're just like
I know.
jinxing stuff negatively.
I know exactly. No, I'm not going to do that again. But the thing is, it says a lot more about Villa than Brentford.
Okay.
Uh, so, I mean, if you look at the statistics there, again, I saw the highlights, didn't watch the game. Villa had the ball the whole of the game, like
Yeah.
77-23. They had 17 shots at goal,
It's a
only two on
ridiculous
target.
ratio. Yeah.
Isn't it? So, because we talked about the Villa Newcastle, I mean, I watched that 90 minutes and they look like they are shit this year, Villa. And I'm sure there will be a lot more problems on that front, especially after this loss. Well done to Brentford, because
Yeah.
I think they have the hardest season this season. So any points I think are welcome.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they lost a lot of blood. I mean, Arsenal 5-0. I know when people just look at it, but I mean, to be fair, again, the first goal did come from a set piece. But looking
Yeah,
at Leeds, it was just a matter of time, it felt like. But it's again, Arsenal breaks. I think that's one thing going for them. And they did it last year too. I mean, they were, I know they blamed the injuries at the end, but even when they had the entire team, they could not like break the deadlock until a set piece goal. And
yeah.
that's how they beat United's, and then which kind of scares me going up to this weekend because we were kind of shit in defending set pieces, and they're coming to Enfield with
I
their
think
set
they have a
pieces.
couple of missing players as well. Yeah, Saka won't be there.
Saka won't
Uh,
be there. Obviously, Havertz is already out. But
Eze
I'm assuming
Eze
Eze
is
could be
in
able to
there.
play. Yeah.
Yeah,
So he'll probably just slot right in. And like another like he's a Premier League player.
yeah.
I think those are a lot easier to kind of like convert back into your game, kind of a deal. So
You obviously heard that story, didn't you? Because as he was getting out of the game against who? Arsenal, Palace, Chelsea, Palace,
yeah.
Chelsea. Eze obviously scored the free kick goal, which was disallowed and
Mhm.
everything. As he was walking out, the commentator was saying he is almost signed for Tottenham. He's probably playing his next last game for Palace for Spurs.
Yep.
Arteta calls him in the last day. Have you heard
Yes,
about?
and then
Uh,
converts it. But he wasn't like a he's an Arsenal kid
yes.
growing up.
So I
So
think, or either Arteta spoke to him, or he called them and said, "Look, I'm going to Spurs. Please, please don't let me play for Spurs or whatever." So
save me. Like,
if well, obviously he's an Arsenal kid,
yeah.
um, and if he's going to Spurs, I don't know. Would you call the manager if you were going to Galatasaray and the last or United for that matter, and
There's not
whole
enough
United
money in
and
the
say,
world, is there? There's not
I
enough
don't know,
money in the world.
I don't know. Well, obviously there
There's not
was
enough
at
enough
some
money
point.
in the world. Because okay, here's my thing. It's not like you win the lottery or you don't. I mean, like if if United is trying to sign me, I'm sure I can go somewhere else as well. You know what I mean? Like that's that. I'm at
Yeah,
that level, so I feel like yeah. I mean, it's a rival as well, but. I mean, I don't know. These guys kind of like remove that. I think at this level, that's why they're professionals, and we kind of do it more with our feelings. They do it more with their pockets and
yeah.
career and stuff like that. Honestly, to me though, do you think that's like because I grew up hated Tottenham, or I want to be able to win things? Which one do you think is
Um,
the preference there? Like, is he thinking with his heart or is he thinking with his career?
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously he has thought about going to Spurs, so your case is now
Yeah,
nullified
but he's
there.
going there from Palace.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean,
So
he's going to play Champions League, for example. Because Spurs beat United last year in the Europa final. You remember that, right?
I
Okay.
remember that. We watched that. We watched that like
Yes.
watch along, didn't we? That
Yep.
was a horrible game. Um,
Good times.
I don't know. I think Arsenal has become a very dangerous team. That's what I think.
I think so too. I mean, when I heard that, I was like, no way. That's not
Yeah,
good, kind of a
yeah,
deal. But
that's not good.
the only thing I honestly think, as well as, as much as he's done, I still think when it starts to get hotter in a race, in a title race and stuff, Arteta is not the mindset or the temperament you want as a manager. You watch that dude in sidelines. I
Yeah,
feel like he's the kind of guy. We've talked about this in the past, right? Like for the Turkish national team. When shit hits the fan, you want to look to the side and you want to see a guy. Doesn't matter if he could be energetic. He could be like Klopp, yelling and screaming. I'm not talking about yelling and screaming. It's almost like he yells and screams like all panicky, like you go here, you go there and stuff. You want to look to the side and you want to see a guy under control. Even if he's yelling, he's under control, right? I
yeah,
mean, it gives you that confidence like, we got this. Whereas you look at Arteta and he's just losing his shit. And I can understand that's your temperament, but one, I think that wears down on somebody. We've all had bosses that, gets on your ass, works once, works twice. After a while, you're like, you know what? That's just him being him. I don't care anymore. And
yeah,
two, it doesn't give you're already in a high stress situation. You need some calm. You don't need, you need a manager who can at times give you the calm, at least. It
yeah.
feels like he's probably more tired after the game than some of the players.
I know. I mean, it depends on how the culture of the team is shaping, isn't it? If the players think they are close this season to win the Premier League, they will live with it or use it to their advantage. If things really go wrong score wise, if they lose a few games and he's still tripping out there, then what you're saying is correct. But if they keep winning, um, everybody's, I think, by now used to his antics, and the newcomers will just sort of, follow suit.
But you can be used to his antics. But I'm just talking about in a high pressure situation, especially if you're in the title race and stuff. When the stress is
Yeah,
there, to help the team, you need somebody to take that little stress away. Whether it's the
definitely,
press conference, whether whatever it is. And I feel like
agree.
he's not that guy. So when it's in a title race, if he's going against Pep, if he's going against Slot, I think those guys have an advantage in terms of like their overall demeanor. Because Pep
Yes,
goes ape shit too. But when you look on the sideline, you see, you know what I mean? Like the confidence they have in what is being done. Like we did the homework. So we just got to go do it out there now. I don't know. It
yeah,
feels like, and these guys are like professionals too. I just never understand where like you're kind of like directing them. They're like a U8 team. It would be like us playing and there's like a 5-year-old on the sideline constantly yelling at us to go. I know, dude. I know he's there. Like it's been like he's next to you. I know he's like next. I know I got him like that. I got that guy covered. I know. I just get that impression when I watch him. Maybe because he's so unlikable that he does has a demeanor that's just not
well,
geared for
obviously
success.
you sort of, compare two guys there, Pep and Slot now as well. uh, they won the thing.
That's true too. Yes.
So Arteta is really desperate this season to get
Yeah,
it.
he is. Yeah, he is. That's why I think it's even worse. If it gets hotter,
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah,
even more pressure because now he's going even more apeshit.
correct.
Palace won, Forest won. There's a lot changing for Palace. Obviously, with Eze leaving, they're shopping around. So And Gahey could be headed over to Liverpool because they're going after a couple of center backs as well. So these next 4 days, any conversation we have about some of these teams, especially the middle of the table teams where the dominoes started at that level now, could change drastically. Everton 2, Brighton 0. It's the opener for the stadium and everything like that. So it's all positive vibes. And it kind of goes back to Brighton is like a mystery team. Where yeah, but Brighton more than Everton. Everton away. I know it's a new stadium and everything, but it was the opening, so it was going to be already like a crazy atmosphere. What do you make of Brighton? Because they're hot or cold, it feels like.
Um, when they get going, they get results back to back, don't they? So I think they're waiting for that spell to come on in at some point. They didn't look like winning at all in the Everton game.
No.
I watched about half an hour of the game. They weren't effective at all, and they didn't seem to have the arsenal for it as well. But as you say, Brighton is a team when they start playing and get results, or especially when they're sort of attacking, and you feel like Brighton is about to score. You most of the time I think, where were these guys about, I don't know, 20 minutes ago? The whole team changes and the game changes. So as you say, it's sort of opening of the stadium or whatever. Brighton hasn't started their season yet. I think
it's weird. They're like a streaky shooter in basketball. Like suddenly everything starts going in or nothing is going in. It's like, what are we doing over here? Yeah. We kind of talked about the Fulham 1, United 1, the whole penalty kick debacle and stuff like that. And then obviously United taking the lead really under weird circumstances, I have to say anyway. But and then the full, like, that goal has to be a foul. I don't care where you're from. The inconsistency just freaking kills me. Because if you give the penalty, then you got to give the other foul, or don't give the penalty and then let the other one go. I think more than anything else is inconsistency. So that was probably a fair result at the end, a 1-1.
It was a fair result under the circumstances, but if you look at the game, especially before the penalty, even
the first half, United were a bit more.
United were really up on their game, and it was going United's way. So I was sad to see the points go. I think United did that.
Yes, I can see you being sad about the points go, but like when the game ended, I was like, yeah, that's fair, because really, I felt like United's goal was crap, but then they did miss a penalty, which was also funny because it was Fernandez. But then, Fulham really dominates in the second half. And that's when you really see, like, there's no legs in that midfield of United. So when somebody starts moving the ball around fast and stuff, they are all over the place. And it's a very, very fragile team. So there is nobody to say, hey, calm the hell down over here. I mean, heck, you look at the Liverpool game. We'll talk about this now. I mean, against Newcastle, it was 10 men. I mean, they were dominating at one point. It was just like, what is going on? But there is something to, and I'll ask you that, like, there's, I think I was talking about this morning, they've had like 46 of these, like late goal, and by far more than anybody else and stuff. It goes back to what you were saying earlier about why winning is important. Because there is something to know about, like, knowing to win or how to win, or at least have that calmness in terms of like the we go again thing, like we're just going to do our thing and then eventually it's going to happen. What do you make of that Newcastle game? Obviously, we talked a ton about it throughout the week, but how disappointed were you when you saw the little kids who's younger than Tuna, right?
I think he is actually, yes.
Yeah, almost. He's literally younger than you.
He's younger than Tuna. We were actually, funny enough, it was 2-2, wasn't it? And we were with our cousin Esra, and we went to this Irish pub, and on the counter we sort of turned on the game, and as we turned on the game, you scored the goal. And,
thank you for tuning in.
Tuna was over the moon with that. I haven't watched the game. I watched the goals Obviously, I know the highlights, but it's what you say is important. I mean, even the young kid there, um, Liverpool knows they can win at any moment, and they expect to win.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
That's the thing, and obviously, vice versa. mm, Newcastle knows they can be scored uh, at the end of the game. It's like a curse, right? It's same thing with Fenerbahce, for example. I mean, the amount of goals that we conceded in the last few minutes
yeah,
in the fact, I don't know, 4 or 5 seasons, it's incredible. Or the penalties that we couldn't score,
yeah.
or blah blah blah. So it passes on, even if it's not the same players. The culture of the team actually, I think, is passed on. That's the advantage that Liverpool has, which I'm hoping you will get rid of it as soon as.
I mean, the weird thing was, it almost like they got hustled into it because obviously, when it was 2-0, I thought it was going to be game over,
Yeah,
knowing slot and stuff. But, we just could not control the game, still like in an unnecessary rush to attack and stuff like that. But when it became 2-2, I mean, honestly, based on momentum, and that place was unreal, loud as hell. I mean, there's already all the Isak drama going on in the background and everything. But it felt like the third goal, if it came from anybody, it would be from Newcastle. And it's almost
yeah,
like they got hustled into like attacking probably more than they should with 10 men. Because you can see in the counter, I mean, the kid is wide open in the back. But having said that, I mean, for a 60, he's going to turn 17 tomorrow, actually. But for a kid to have that composure to finish, and that's a build up that, again, like every single player touches the ball except Soboslai, who lets the ball go to him. Everybody other play. I mean, it's like really, really good build up in that thing. But I mean, my thing is away at Newcastle, getting the 3 points. We always talk about this. We always joke about this with you, where beginning of the season is always like, just get the 3 points. The play doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
And then the last 18, so there's only like 2-3 weeks where it really actually matters how you play. Otherwise, it's
Exactly.
only like the 3 points. And coming away from St. James Park, which is a really tough place to go, regardless, with 3 points, is huge.
That's well, but it is huge. In if you would like to take the positive, but I would like to say this is alarm bells ringing. This is the second time you gave away
Yeah,
in well, in 2 games a 2-0 lead against a team which is 10 men, down to 10 men,
yeah.
without Gordon. So yes, you saved the 3 points against a team that you gave away a 2-goal lead, and 11 minutes played after the 90. There was Fergie time. This has to be slot time, isn't it?
It is slot time now. I mean, to be fair though, I mean, it was kind of, I knew when the game was going on, I'm like, they're gonna add forever. There were so many injuries and stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
at the time, it looked like they were trust me, they were Newcastle fans were happy when they saw the 11 go up.
I'm sure.
And that's the
I'm sure.
thing. Like now
Definitely,
everybody is like trying to turn the narrative, but they were happy when they saw the 11 go up
definitely,
because it looked like
definitely.
they were close to scoring. But yeah, it does seem worrying in terms of how we give away the leads. But if you can get these warnings as you're winning 3 points, that's how you kind of win titles
Yeah,
without
yeah.
dropping the points. I mean, you don't want to learn lessons as you drop points. You want to learn the lessons as you're like kind of like
Yep.
squeaking away with the 3 point win and stuff. So this weekend is
Ex-
a big one. We'll take a look at like the schedule real quick over here. We'll start with your boys on Saturday at home to Burnley. On paper,
9
it
a.m.
should be 9 a.m. my time, so don't get too excited and wake up early over there. But 9 a.m. my time. What do you expect? Will there be? I mean, Burnley is no Grimsby town, but
Two
it's
nil.
still a tough matchup.
I'm not sure. It will be 2-0. It will be a much better performance. Not a satisfactory one, but it will be 2-0. As if you remember, I told you we will get away with a 1-0 win from Fulham or with a Fernandez penalty. Uh, well, I was almost there.
It's
So
guidance, yeah.
this one exactly. This one will be a 2-0 win. It will not be a satisfactory football. I'm not expecting a miracle, but surely we will pass this with 3 points.
Yeah. What do you think the stadium will be like? Is it going
Depends
to
on
be
when
like the
we
first
depends
15,
on when
20
we
minutes
score the
matter?
goal, isn't it? Depends on when we score the goal, really.
Yeah. I just
If
thought,
it's
yeah, because it's going to be people waiting to boo.
yeah. Oh wow, it's classic, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
with the expectations and everything. It depends on the game as well. I mean, it depends on how we're attacking. If the expectation is there, and which I think it will be there. Uh,
Couldn't ask for a better opponent, probably, right?
exactly. Yeah.
After that Grimsby game.
The thing is, I'm games like this for United is much more dangerous than the Arsenal game, for example,
I got you. Yeah.
because we are not up to a good standard in the attacking or opening the opposing team. Uh, and again, United is expected to play as Manchester United of the theater of
Yeah.
dreams. So leave open spaces in the back,
Yeah.
and we are not geared up to do that. So if you don't get excited, but still sort of play our game and be patient as the players, obviously. And if we can score early on, then it will be
Isn't that a bit on the players as well, though? Like, so, like
of
we
course.
talk about this with like players, like foreign players in Turkey, like getting a bit more up for the Europa game or the Champions League game and stuff like that. It feels like, if they're playing an Arsenal or a City or whatever or Liverpool, I mean, even if it's not, take Liverpool out, like take, let's say, like the rivalries out. If they're against like Tottenham or Arsenal or Newcastle or whatever, they almost know it's going to be a tough one. So it's almost like they're prepared to fight a bit more, as opposed to, I guess, what happened against Grimsby, where you feel like you can kind of go out there and do your thing. We're the better team. We spend more money on us. We should be better, kind of an expectation.
If we had a 3-0 or 2-0 win over Grimsby, this game would be dangerous. But for the reasons I told earlier on when we first started, I think everybody will be taking this very seriously. They will have to be taking this seriously.
Can that be negative, though? See, that's what I'm hoping for, because it's not a
No, no, you
team
are
that,
hoping for that. No,
yes.
strike it. No,
Yeah,
strike
we'll
that.
see. We'll see. Don't get too excited.
No, okay.
Honestly, the funny thing is, I think it was on the Wednesday morning show. Somebody in the chat said, "Oh, I can't wait to watch later on today when Grimsby beats Manchester United." And it was kind of like a joke. And then, come to see, dreams can come
Well,
true. Liverpool, Arsenal.
that's a good one, isn't it? I'm expecting a draw, to be honest. Eze will be there. Saka won't be there. I think that there was another one doubtful for Arsenal. Who was that?
Odegaard, I don't know what his situation is. He
Odegaard.
had that
Odegaard is
injury,
getting
came in, yeah.
doubtful. Even then, I mean, I think both teams have enough good players to have a good game. Arteta won't want to lose this, to be honest, and they can defend when they defend. I would I would think a 1-1 draw
Yeah,
would
I'm
be fair.
actually going with I mean, my heart says, we win 2-1 or something like that. But then my brain probably says like a 2-2 or something like that,
Yeah,
just because.
yeah, looks like it.
But in
Yeah,
some ways, I expect both teams to play. I don't want to say like play definitely not to lose or anything like that, but like not take a lot of risks. So this could
no,
be as like
careful.
fierce as it will be. I think it will be a bit more like taking it safe, because nobody wants to. And it's match day 3. It's not like the person who loses is going to be out of it or anything like that. It's early goings, but I think it's bigger for Liverpool to win this, in the sense that there's a lot more new pieces to the team, and we're hoping by the time we come to this game, you might have even bigger pieces being announced, like if Isak is coming through, Gahey coming through, and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
let's do the upset real quick. Who is your upset? For God's sakes, don't jinx anybody. At least you're not picking Arsenal, so we're good.
The upset this week, Leeds. I'll pick two.
Is that going to be your go-to upset team? Like,
Yeah, this is my. I'm very hopeful about these guys. Leeds. Well, would that be an upset if it's a draw? You think, or is it
not
straight
really. I
Newcastle?
mean, dude, Newcastle. I mean, here's the thing: Newcastle's not going to have Gordon.
Exactly.
They might not have. I don't know what's the story is with Jolinson and Tonali because they were both like kind of hurts during the game. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen there. So I don't know if they're going to be missing players. But if they were not missing players, I would say it would be an upset just because I still feel like they have one of the best midfields in the league with
Yeah. Yeah.
Tonali and Bruno and Jolinton. It's like a
So
good complementary trio.
Leeds is number one. I'm picking Palace as number two.
Palace against
At
Villa. Yeah, you're not
at,
big on Villa, I noticed. Okay.
at Villa, yeah.
Okay.
But I would definitely want to see the 90 minutes of the Wolves Everton game. Definitely. Apart from the United and the Liverpool games. That would be a good one.
Would be a goal rush. You know, I'm gonna go with like a. I mean, since we're doing upsets, I'm gonna go with Bournemouth getting something about away from that Spurs game.
Okay.
Spurs will be really over the top. I think after that City game, they might get something from there. If you're picking a second one, man, I don't see Brighton doing anything. Chelsea
No.
Fulham is like a kind of like a good derby thing. Actually, I can see Fulham doing something, but I just don't trust them yet. Yeah, Villa Palace. I don't even know that's an upset anymore. To be honest with you, Forest should have an easy time with West Ham. Brentford at Sunderland.
Okay. Brentford doing the upsetting, you mean?
Yes. Brentford doing the upsetting, but my number one pick is going to be Bournemouth. On the way out, transfer window by the time we meet next week, it will be closed. Thank freaking God.
Yeah.
And it'll be done and over with. Give me some predictions over here. Let's start with us. Liverpool get Isak and Gehi. Do they get both? None. One.
Isak, I think you're definitely getting Isak, especially after the guy who came in. Who was he?
Hold on, man. I'm gonna have to get his name
Uh,
over here because Western
I
Gate
haven't
or
seen him at
something like
all.
that. He's a lot of money, that's for sure.
I
And
know.
he's like a tall dude. Like we've seen him play.
Yeah.
Oh look, Solskjaer is in the news.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Voltamade. Oh, actually, it's a V.
Voldemort.
Voltamade.
Okay. But well, Isaac is coming in. Yeah, I don't know. What are they going to do if they let go of Gehi as well?
Was my main. Honestly, when Eze signed for Arsenal, my initial concern was, damn, Arsenal got really a lot better. And the second
Yeah.
one was like, well, they got money. I don't know if they're gonna keep Gay. The only thing with Gay is, and I know they've come out and said this before, same reason they sold Eze is he has 1 year left on his contract. So if you don't sell him now and get 30, 40 for him, you get zero next year. He just
Okay.
becomes like he just walks. So it's a
Mm.
matter of, do you take the 30, 40, you go get two new center backs, or do you just say, no, we need him and you keep him, but then you let him walk? And I don't know if you saw the
Mm.
scene after the first game where he told you this is the manager who's like
Yeah.
calling him over and stuff. So I almost feel like, and I know, like, Gally was saying in one of the shows that, they were just waiting for today's game. They advanced to the Conference League, and now they're like, okay, you can go there, and they're shopping for like a bunch of players. So there's going to be a lot of activity over the next
Mm.
few days over here. How about
Yeah.
your guys at United's?
Oh,
Garnacho, 40 million to Chelsea.
who?
Garnacho. The next Ronaldo, the next Cristiano Ronaldo is now going to Chelsea for a 40 million package, 7 year deal worth 40 and a 10% sell-on clause.
A lot of money for a guy who's lost the confidence. I'm not sure if he can find enough space the way Chelsea is attacking. Um, I don't know if he's going to be useful more in Champions League games. I don't know. I mean, would you like Garnacho if you were a Chelsea fan?
I mean, Chelsea loves a winger, man. They have like 15 of them. That would be my only thing
Exactly.
if I'm Garnacho. I'm like, am I gonna play? Because you guys have 10 of me. But
Exactly. Yeah.
that's one thing. But I mean, at one point, like I say, he was supposed to be like he's like the next Ronaldo and stuff. But I think you have a good point there where United is so poor and never have the ball because of the midfield. So they've had to have a lot of games where they defend and do the counter where he has the space. Whereas
Yes.
Chelsea does not get as much of that. Like Liverpool
No.
does not get as much of that. You're gonna be able
No.
to I don't
Like
think he's as good against the low block defense.
we've seen in the Palace game, in
Yes.
Chelsea Palace game.
Yeah.
And yes, they have enough wingers, but they don't need the wingers at those
Because
games.
I don't see him as like Neto is, for example, like a player I like, and he has that ability to kind of like weave his way in and find space and stuff like that. Garnacho is more like needs the space to go into, and he's
Exactly.
really not going to
And
get that.
he's like we say in Turkish, he presses on the ball too much.
Yes.
You know what I mean, don't you? Sort of, he meshes about the ball too much. He sort of, he's not. If he doesn't have the area to run at, he sort of, turns and turns again around himself and loses a lot of time and
Yeah,
loses
lets
the
the
ball.
defense settle back and then just drops it anyway to the left back or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what happened most of the time when United was attacking, unless he was like sort of running on the field. Garnacho would be a lot better in a team like, I don't know, Palace or
Yes, somebody who
Forest.
values counterattacking. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Okay, on the way out, let me ask you this real quick. But I mean, because we already went over an hour, but I had to ask you this: these ridiculous Champions League draws. I mean, it has come past the like coincidence stage where you know Kevin De Bruyne is playing against City with Napoli. Trent is playing against Liverpool with Real Madrid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, how sticky? I mean, it's even worse now. They used to talk about sticky balls and stuff like that. Now the computer is doing it. I mean, I don't know, man. I can probably tell Chat GPT, be like, hey, come up with a schedule where everybody, all these guys go back there. Is that what it is? AI is basically coming up with this
I
at the
think I think it is just the AI is told to get as much sort of controversial underscores as possible, like you say, because
yeah,
people the thing is, what they were saying before was, if these big teams play together a lot more, then they will be matched a lot more. But that is not the case, is it? If Liverpool plays Real Madrid every 2 or 3 months, then it's not an interesting game anymore, as
yeah,
they were sort of playing maybe once in 2 or 3 years. Comparing the big teams, they were big in England and they were big in Spain. What if these two teams sort of play together? That was an expecting exciting prospect.
yes.
Now they have to find some underscores, like Trent used to play there, and
Yeah,
blah
like
blah.
storylines behind
Yeah,
the games.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It's cheap.
It is
That's what.
cheap, actually. It's like like tabloid kind of crap is
Yeah,
basically what it
exactly.
is. And I mean, yeah, like so that there's so much more to talk about a game. And I think, yeah, like when they were talking about the Super League and stuff like that, which will still happen within the next like 5 to 10 years over here, I think. At
Yeah,
least the Champions League will become that at the end of the day. And I think that's because the gap between the big boys and the little guys is because of the money they get from Champions League. That's why, like a team like United is very hard to. I mean, United can barely cope with it because they already have the history and they already have the income and stuff like that. But if United wasn't United and they already have that, that gap is going to be, there's already a gap building. and that
Yeah.
gets bigger, bigger, bigger. So I think eventually it's going to be like the German league, where like, do you really want to watch Bayern beat up on everybody every single freaking week, or do you just watch the Dortmund game, or like the only 2-3 games where it might be slightly competitive? So I think we're going to come to a stage where it's going to be like, yeah, those are no fun to watch. So it's not going to have the attraction that you're saying, oh, Real is playing, but it's going to be like the Premier League, where everybody is pretty darn good and everybody has like a lot of money to spend on players, as opposed to one guy with like a 300 million team and the other one has like 30. You're not going to watch that week in and week out. Unless it's very much taking on minions and losing. So that's a different story. But that'll be it for us. We already went well over what we thought we would do. But thanks a lot, as always, Edip. May the Manchester United adventures continue, because it makes great comedy for us. We really enjoy it. So thanks a lot for that. Was the only highlight of my day when Fenerbahce lost to Benfica, which I didn't care as much about. They're going to Europa and stuff. But when I saw that at the same time happening, it just puts a smile on your face. You can't
Well,
help.
yeah, well, I had the doubly bad week this week. So next week against Burnley, and maybe a Liverpool loss would be sort of, making
Yeah,
my.
I mean, you can hope. A guy can dream. So let's
The,
go.
the thing is, I mean, I don't like any other team. It's this. This is not the. This is unfair. Being a United fan, because if you're not a United fan, you can sort of root for anybody playing United and have your kicks. If you're a United fan, I'm not sure I would be happy with an Arsenal win either. So,
Well, I think is that because it doesn't serve your purpose at all. I mean, like,
no,
what do I
yeah,
get
well,
out of it?
exactly,
Like,
yeah,
if
well,
we're
it
looking
helps
to,
everybody else, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
exactly. I mean, if somebody is like taking points away from Arsenal or City, like when Spurs beat City, we can look at it and say that helps our title run. Whereas for you guys, it's like, what do I get out of this? You get nothing. Like you just watch Arsenal fans
I,
celebrate.
I,
Well,
I will get whatever I can if you lose next week.
small victories, but hopefully we won't be talking about that. We'll be talking about another Liverpool victory. And I mean, we can't talk about anything else about United but the Premier League at this point until January. So we'll talk about that. But tune in next week, same time, same place. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.
Yes.